What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Aljamain Sterling gets honest about Arman Tsarukyan potentially moving to featherweight. Aljamain Sterling recently shared his thoughts on Arman Tsarukyan potentially moving down to featherweight and warned the Georgian-born Armenian fighter that the move wouldn't be as easy as he thought. During a recent interview with Mike Bone, Sterling shared his thoughts on Tsarukyan potentially moving down to the featherweight division with the hopes of winning UFC gold. I wouldn't be annoyed at all. I don't think he necessarily will cut the line. He'll have to fight the next top guy. You've got me. You've Gene Silva. You've got Youssef Zalal. You've got Yair Rodriguez. You've got a lot of talented guys. There's a lot of good guys in this division. So it ain't gonna be a cakewalk. I can tell you that. If he wants to come down, just remember, we're faster. We are faster. You're cutting down, and you're gonna be smaller. There's gonna be different pros and cons for him coming down. Francis Ngannou admits he still really wants Jon Jones' fight before his career is over. Francis Ngannou admits Jon Jones is still the fight he really wants. Ngannou versus Jones is one of the biggest fights to make in MMA, but it seems like a bout that will never happen. Jones has retired from MMA while Ngannou is set to fight for MVP promotions, and a return to the UFC seems unlikely. However, Ngannou said that the fight is the one he really wants and hopes it can happen. Jon Jones is the fight that I really want to have before my retirement. But other than that, it could be anybody. I don't care, as long as it's a fight. I'm not saying it's a fight that would define my career or something, but if I had to pick, okay, let's do this one and go home, then it would be Jon Jones. Although Ngannou is hopeful it will happen, it does seem unlikely it will happen at this point. However, there were rumors of Ngannou-Jones super fight over the years, but the former UFC heavyweight champion said that it wasn't real. Instead, Ngannou believes Jones was just using his name as leverage and bait during his negotiations, and didn't have much interest in the bout ever taking place. Disappoint me? No, it was never really on the table, so I don't have to be disappointed. The only time that he seems like a possibility was when he was used as bait, something to bait me. Brady-Buckley loser at UFC 328 will lose years in title picture. John Anik has a little concern for whoever walks away disappointed in a key welterweight tilt coming up. Brady was on a 3-fight winning streak, including a submission of former champion Leon Edwards at UFC Fight Night 255, but was stopped by Michael Morales at UFC 322 this past November for his first setback in 3 years. Ex-champ Belal Muhammad is his only other loss. Buckley had 6 straight wins, including over huge names in Stephen Thompson, Colby Covington, and Vicente Luque, but his streak was ended when he was grinded out by former champion Kamaru Usman nearly a year ago. I really believe in Buckley. I know he's dealing with that Kamaru Usman result, and will try to spin it forward to the positive. But Sean Brady not far from home, trying to put that Michael Morales result behind him? I mean, there have been 2 critical losses in Sean Brady's career, Belal Muhammad and Michael Morales. But he responded in kind after the Belal fight, and I really expect him to put his best foot forward. I believe both of these guys have championship potential at welterweight. If Sean Brady or Joaquin Buckley suffers a successive loss here, you know it's a 2-year championship setback. So I think given the stakes and given the state of the welterweight division, that one jumps off the card. Arman Tsarukyan urges Ilia Topuria to avoid welterweight before fighting him. Arman Tsarukyan has dared Ilia Topuria to fight him before moving up to the welterweight division. Topuria has had his sights set on a potential clash with UFC welterweight champion Islam Makhachev. First, El Matador will need to focus on his lightweight title unification bout with Justin Gaethje, which is scheduled to headline UFC Freedom 250 on June 14th. Tsarukyan has been staying active outside of the octagon, but he's firmly set on earning a shot at the 155-pound gold. Serving as a guest on the Ariel Helwani show, Tsarukyan insisted that Topuria shouldn't chase Makhachev's title before they get a chance to settle things. We'll see how I'm not going to take him down. I can take down anybody. About he's going to break my jaw, whatever he wants to do, just accept the fight. Why you ducking if you're super confident that you can beat me so easy in the first round? So, just sign the contract after this fight and don't move up. Because I'm an easy fight, why you want to move up? Do you think Arman Tsarukyan will fight the winner of the UFC Freedom 250 main event between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje? Share your opinion in the comments below. UFC Voice sees perfect fight for McGregor's return. The roller coaster of speculation about a comeback fight for McGregor has been rampant for the majority of that stretch. He was once scheduled to fight Michael Chandler at UFC 303, but pulled out due to injury. Other than that, it's never truly felt close to reality. Positive signs have started to emerge in recent weeks. McGregor has repeatedly expressed confidence on social media that he will be fighting in the UFC sooner rather than later, and UFC CEO Dana White recently said it's looking good, while previously stating that UFC 329 was a date in play. UFC play-by-play voice Brendan Fitzgerald is hopeful it will all materialize this time because the stars feel aligned. I know the Conor rumors are out there, and I think everybody is in agreement that we would love to have Conor back in the octagon as soon as possible. What possible better place than International Fight Week at a Las Vegas numbered event to do it? Fitzgerald sees Holloway as the most logical foe out of all potential options, and thinks it would be an intriguing matchup after all of McGregor's time off. Max just seems perfect. Charles Oliveira is not booked right now, but he really wants the title. Max, obviously off the top of the head, seems like the most fitting. There's history, weight class, and all that sort of stuff. It's tough to quantify how Conor will look. I would think Max is a pretty sizable favorite just since he's been active. And it's not a guy like Charles Oliveira on the other side that's going to use grappling advantages. And it's going to be on the feet. And Max has looked largely very good over the past several years against opponents like Conor. Against Dustin, Max looked great. How motivated is Conor? And what's he doing in the shadows? You can't figure that out. Merab Dvalishvili reveals UFC doctors had advised him to pull out of Petr Yan fight. Last year, former bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili was on the verge of achieving a never-before-accomplished milestone: 4 UFC title defenses in a single year. Alas, he could not complete the task, losing to Petr Yan at UFC 323. It seems the high level of activity had taken a toll on him in 2025, and the machine was far from 100% during his fight against Yan. In fact, UFC doctors had reportedly advised him to pull out of the fight. I told the UFC that if they need me, I will be there, and I was willing to fight 4 times this year, and I was going to take the fight against the best deserving guy, Petr Yan. I know that it was a risk. I like to take challenges. I like to take risks. That's who I am. That's what got me here. I knew already, and during the camp, UFC doctors told me that I can pull out. But I guess that's who I am. I don't want to make excuses. I like to be able to challenge myself, and I had the same thing or worse situation before some fights, and I still did make it through, and I still won the fights. But this time, I wasn't able to win. Khamzat Chimaev mocks Sean Strickland over cancelled UFC 328 face-off. Khamzat Chimaev's fight weeks are usually chaotic, and Sean Strickland is easily one of the most polarizing fighters in the UFC. Dana White has therefore decided to cancel the special Paramount promotional face-offs for their UFC 328 clash. During a recent media interaction, White noted that he'd be beefing up security for Chimaev versus Strickland and would request Paramount to cancel the pre-media day face-offs. Maybe he knows our side will jump him. Strickland doesn't have any friends, just maybe one coach there with him. We'll jump on him, and he'll run away. The event marks Chimaev's first title defense attempt after capturing the middleweight strap in a controversial unanimous decision win over Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319. Strickland, meanwhile, was last seen scoring a third-round knockout over Anthony Hernandez at UFC Houston in February. A win over Chimaev would make him a 2-time middleweight champion.